Every day after filming, I'd go home with like a new bruise somewhere, and I'd FaceTime my girlfriend, and she'd be like, "What is that? Is that a hickey?" I'm like, "No, baby, it's the suit, all right."
But first, with Famke, in your experience of doing action films with lots of big digital special effects, what would you say has been the biggest improvement in making your job easier?
To be honest with you, the more I can see on the day, the better of an actor I am, and the easier it is to work that way. The more green screen, the more challenging usually it gets. It's so much nicer to work with actors. And I actually ended up having that on this movie. The only thing that was discombobulating was this bizarre thing that they now do with like a camera being attached to the backdrop when everything starts moving in like the most strange way, and you feel like you're tumbling over when you stand up kind of thing, because everything moves. But yes, other than that technology, I was pretty much free of, the arms, because they're these sort of prosthetic arms. They were still being designed as we were going. So we did all the testing beforehand to try to figure it out. But there were times where I called them garden gloves. I was like literally wearing like these rubber gloves that were, well, I mean, it looked like they're supposed to look, but I had to try to get them on and, on and off when they're this long, and it was complicated. And then of course the times where it's going to be CGI'd later with like little green dots and things like that. But overall it was a real character, and I saw the things happening around me with very little what I had to deal with the green screen, thankfully.
Oh, absolutely. That's a relief to hear, because I've heard the horror stories of having to act at tennis balls. And I'm glad we've developed a little bit since then. Yeah. Well, my next question's for Nick. You kind of, in this film, you kind of go from being a badass to being a cyborg superhuman badass. I was wondering, with these abilities, if you had them in the real world, what are the first three things you would do?
Wow, that's a good question.
Hard question.
Yeah, you do.
Why am I going to get the hard question? If I had these in real life, what would I do? I mean, probably just start beating ass, I mean, that's what he does, right? And that's his power. It's not really all that special. He's just superhuman strength. I think there was even more stuff from the movie, more people I beat up that they actually didn't even keep in the film, because but there's enough already, the guy's just, creating havoc wherever he goes.
Chaos.
So, I would just keep the Cassio spirit alive.
I feel like he would start like a UFC type of fighting thing.
For sure. And then just, beat everyone.
Yeah. He's like the champion always.
He does not have an ego. Cassio.
Pretty much just where he started in the movie, just starting that Fight Club all over again. So. But for Diego, man, I was really surprised. I stuck around after the credits. I was kind of waiting for like an after credits tease on where your guy's going next. Yeah. If you were in charge of writing your character for the next film, a next chapter, where would you like to see your Nero go?
Yeah, that's a great question. If I were in charge, if I were the writer, right, I would start. I would definitely entail a little bit of Nero's background, right? If you watch the original anime, I mean, he trained on an island with some crazy nutcase of a guy who was trying to convert him into this killer, right? And he sacrificed a lot of his life into this to a certain degree, right? He lost the love of his life. His little brother got taken away when he was young. So I would want the audience to be able to see that a little bit, and then, of course, continue on his journey as essentially one of the main antagonists. But I would like to see him have a bit of a character arc, right? I would like him to, turn to the good side and not become Anakin Skywalker. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's all there, and the mystery is definitely there. I kind of was hoping the film was going to reveal more of that, but we'll get you in the next one, hopefully.
Of course, right?
Yeah, these films are tend to, the first ones are all about introducing so many characters and, then focusing in the future on potentially if there are spin-offs or sequels. on other characters and their exploration.
Well, my next question is for you, Famke. I was wondering, with these types of movies where you have larger-than-life characters with supernatural abilities and stuff like that, what was kind of your way into this character? Like, what specifically made Garrod special for you?
What made Garrod special to me is that she really is a handicapped superhero. I've never played that before. I mean, she is, she needs a lifeline to something because otherwise she's going to die. She has arms that are not, that could be superhuman, but only if they're fed by this Cosmo that she gets through killing other people with that Cosmo. And so she's on a mission not only to save herself, but to save humankind, because she believes that the reincarnation of Athena, her own, adopted daughter, can potentially, if she was able to destroy my arms like that as a young kid, what can she do as an adult? And so it was very important from the moment I signed on that emotional through line was there, because I wasn't really when I signed on, and I wanted to make sure that we weren't just putting a villain on the page with an agenda to do that, but understand the sacrifices the toll that takes on a mother, of what that would feel like and be. And so we worked hard on that too, in the limited time that we have. Obviously, it's an action-packed movie, but it has heart, and that's lovely, and that's surprising for a film like that. And so I think they're just the other aspects of it that I just love about this anime, or Knights of the Zodiac, is, it does have heart, and it is about a bigger thing outside of ourselves, or what we have inside of us, and the potential of what we can grow into if we let go of the past, like Senseiya has to learn in this story. And so it's very fun. I learned through this experience.
Yeah, that's kind of one reason I love anime so much, is just really a lot of the stories are built on like inspiration and, being better and improving yourself. And I think I think all three of you nailed this. A good villain is a hero in their own journey.
Absolutely.
And I think each of you, well, I don't know, Nick's character was just, ready to bash heads the whole time. So that was a fun,
it's a little more simple.
Well, yes, Nick, with that final armor that you're having to wear, that looked pretty clunky and not very easy to move around in. And I know that I think was a guy who used to work on the Jackie Chan stunt team, kind of handled a lot of the fight scenes for this film. I was wondering how that was to perform in that sort of outfit.
Honestly, this amazing stunt team made us look really good. We did some of it. We all three had some interesting costumes and some pretty intensive, 2-hour costume fittings, and it was all custom made stuff for us. And, depending on what stage of the movie it is, some of it's a little easier to get around in than others, And this guy had it worse than me, actually, in his armor, so it was different for all of us, but, it took a while to sort of work the kinks out. We do a couple scenes, something wasn't feeling right. I remember my back was hurting and it was hard to, so they just adjusted something and they took note, and, next time I wore it, it felt a little better, things like that. So.
Every day after filming, I'd go home with like a new bruise somewhere. And I'd FaceTime my girlfriend, and she'd be like, "What is that? Is that a hickey?" I'm like, "No, baby, it's the suit, all right? It's the suit. It looks great, but it hurts like hell."
But then you have this stunt team, and they're literally moving around.
Yeah, they're like flying.
They're flying
in
through
the
the air in the
easy
suits,
running.
and you never hear them complaining. It is just unbelievable.
Yeah,
they're true athletes, and and acrobats, really. Yeah.
I'm getting the wrap thing, but thank you guys so much for your time, and I wish you luck in all your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pleasure talking.